In this lesson, we'll take a look at how we can use deformers in our stacks to quickly change the shape of our objects non-destructively. So let's say that we want to start to shape some of these different objects a little bit more, and we want to still retain all of the control that we have by having all of the information here in our stack. So what we can do is start to add deformers on top of our stack. So let's say that we've got our wings over here, and let's just select the kind of the center one here. So looking at this, it's this middle one. And we want to add a deformer. Now we're going to add an FFD deformer so that we can kind of manually manipulate some points to change the shape of our object. So you can see that we have a number of different options here. Let's go ahead and select the 3x3x3. It's going to add that on top of the stack. And so now what we can do is go ahead and take our control points, and let's select all of the control points on the front top of our deformer, and let's move those back in the Y direction slightly. And then we can take the points in the middle and just move those back slightly. So over here at the bottom part, it's still pretty level with the one above it, but it extends further back as it comes up to the top. The back remains flush with the other ones. Okay? Let's do the same thing down here. So we've got this one selected. We'll again add the same type of modifier. Go to the sub-object for control points. Select that same row of points there. And now I'll extend this one even further back so we get this overlapping type of an effect. We'll grab the points in the middle and just pull those back to create a little bit of a curve there. Okay? And now we can see we've got this sort of overlapping effect. Now at any time we can get rid of that effect by just turning off our deformer, and we can have access to all of our other modifiers here. We can change the bevel amount and so forth within that deformer. Okay? And then these remain fairly level. Now if you wanted to modify these a little bit more and maybe give some shape to this, we could take this is the outer one, and so we could go ahead and grab the control points along the bottom and actually pull those out. So extend that out slightly. And then for the middle one, do the same thing here. Select the control points at the bottom and just kind of pull this out a little bit as well. Okay? And so we can get a little bit of a curve going here, going the other direction from the way that these are flowing up in here. So just starting to get a little bit more shape here from front to back. Now the bottom portion, maybe we want to kind of accentuate this line here. So the first thing I want to do is maybe make the bevel a little bit larger. So here's where our flexibility of our procedural workflow comes in handy, because I can just come in here and set this value to something a bit higher, and it automatically updates there. We can go ahead and add a deformer here, and so we'll add the same type of a deformer. We'll go into the control points, go in here, and let's start to just pull these out. Alright, and so what we can do is just go in here and just create a little bit more of a curved shape coming in here. And we can also start to grab these. We can actually pull these up. Okay, and let's kind of pull this in a little bit. Okay, so just starting to create a little bit more shape. So over here on the side, you can see now we get this nice little point there coming in. But again, if we just turn that off, you can see it goes back to our basic bevel. We can take it all the way back to the spline if we want to. Do our modifications there, and then turn all of our geometry back on. So really a nice way to work and take advantage of the stack there. All right. Now looking at the piece on the top, we may want to also take this piece, and let's go ahead and add a deformer here. Let's do 4x4. And actually on this one, because these are both separate pieces, I think we can probably get away with more of a 2x2 in this case. If you've got these both combined, you probably want a larger deformer here. I think in this case we'll be good with this one. So I'm just going to kind of take this back. Let's just angle that back a little bit. Let's do the same thing over here. Take our deformer, go to the sub-object control points, and just move this back a bit. Okay. Turn off our edged faces, and we can see that this is what we've got. So it's starting to take on a little bit more of an interesting shape than what we had before, just using our deformers, which all of these, again, can be turned off at any time, and we can kind of go back to the way it was before, or we can go through the stack and modify any of those pieces that we've got there. All right. So the next thing that we want to do is to go ahead, and there's maybe one more piece that we want to add to this logo to give us a little bit more flexibility in how we're going to add materials and things. And then we'll go in and also add the ball to the logo and just do an overall deformation on the shape that we have here. So let's go ahead and finish that up in the next lesson.